Jujutsu Kaisen.
Jujutsu
Kaisen. This is Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 166, Tokyo number 1 colony, part 6. Last we left off, Higuruma started a new trial for Itadori after he demanded a retrial, and they charged him with the slaughter of a bunch of people in Shibuya that was actually orchestrated by Sukuna at the time. And Itadori, with his guilty ass conscience, he pled guilty, and Judge Man, the cursed spirit, I guess, within his domain, is now about to follow up that sentence.
Judge Lady?
What?
Yeah. Judge Lady.
His name is Judge Man.
It's a woman.
Okay.
Lady Justice.
Yeah, but this is Judge Man.
That's lipstick.
That's fair. I mean, men can't wear lipstick, right, Josh?
No, they cannot. Unless they want to be girl. All right, ignorance is over.
Yeah.
And it looks really fucking scary. It probably is a man.
Yeah. This chapter starts off with a little flashback of Higuruma being asked if he wants to be a judge, and that's where we cut back to the present as Judge Man is going crazy, just like, guilty, confiscation, death penalty. It's
that mega Roma.
He's fucking guilty. Imagine a judge being this intense about a guilty verdict.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Somebody get your mans. What the fuck is going on?
I'll have what this judge is having. At that moment, the death penalty is called, and Higuruma's hammer turns into an executioner's sword. This is the harshest sentence that Judge Man can give out. Basically, first confiscation removes the ability to use a cursed technique and cursed energy in Itadori's case, and then Higuruma receives the executioner's sword. Without exception, anyone cut by the executioner's sword will die. So he doesn't really even have to like slash you hard with this thing. He just has to kind of like poke you.
He could just like give you a little paper cut.
Yeah, and you're dead.
And you die.
This is a broken ass ability because if you are found guilty, you have no means of really fighting back. The only
unless you're superhuman.
Yeah, the only way you can if you're like a cursed womb child with like Itadori, but Megumi would not survive.
No, he would have lost,
yeah,
for sure, absolutely, without a question.
Yeah. Inside of Higuruma's mind, he's just talking about how, like, to empathize with human emotions means to understand their weakness, the weakness of the victim, the weakness of the accused. Day after day after day, I was fed up with it. Ugly. And that's what I thought every time I tried to help another person. And that includes you, Itadori. And he starts like going off about how like all people are weak and ugly. There's nothing more to it. Even if you shine a light, all you see is more emptiness before you. Itadori doesn't really like hear this shit because he just starts running, and he throws a ton of fucking chairs from the audience out at Higuruma, causing him to have to evade and dodge. He sees the Itadori sweater just flying in the wind. Itadori is like masked himself behind the chairs like a ninja, and once Higuruma takes notice of him, he throws his scarf, blinding Higuruma, does a cool side swipe kick. But Higuruma like jumps. He like does a slick like phew. And at that point we cut back to the present, where the past, I mean, in Higuruma's flashback, where he declines his judge, like the question about whether he's going to be a judge, and the guy asks, "May I ask why?" And he thinks people are weak and ugly, so that's why he's incredibly biased, and he doesn't really think highly of human beings at that point. So, you know, as he's thinking on this, he starts to think about why Itadori confessed to the crime Apparently, he knows the information Judgment submits as evidence is shared with the sorcerer before opening. So he kind of knew exactly what was in the envelope. I thought, didn't he mention that he wouldn't know what was inside? Or unless it was like right before he opens it, he gets told what it is.
I definitely don't remember.
Yeah. But in any case, the evidence that was submitted in the charge was about the demon inside of him, about Sukuna. Because so Judgment knows that Itadori didn't really kill everyone. So he's just like, why? And then he dispels his cursed technique and takes a fucking gut check by Itadori, sending him flying about 20 yards. It is not good. And Itadori is confused thereafter. And we hear a bunch of lawyer mumbo jumbo talking about how the absence of reason and or control signifies non-compos mentis. And he mentions that
Lawyer mumbo jumbo.
He says that Sukuna possessed your body. In other words, you couldn't control yourself, so you didn't abandon self-control voluntarily. You're innocent. And Itadori is like, it's still my fault because I'm too weak. And he asked Higuruma why he dispelled his technique, and Higuruma's like, I remember why I got into law in the first place, to help people, I guess. He's just like to help weak people, and he's kind of lost sight of that. But Itadori kind of seems to have reminded him. He tells Itadori to pull up a seat and put his clothes back on, because he is going to give Itadori the 100 points. Hell yeah. Let's go, Higuruma.
Let's go.
So at that moment, as Itadori is putting on his hoodie, Higuruma asks him, have you ever killed anyone of your own will? And Itadori is like, yes. Higuruma goes, I see. Didn't it feel awful? As we cut back to what seems to be that one court case where he summoned the judgment in the first place. And he sees he's laying before the bashed skulls of, I guess, the lawyer and the judge that was presiding the case. And that's where the chapter ends. Wow. I mean, I called it. But I think this was pretty easy one to call. I'm not going to give myself too much credit. But I really like this arc, and I so love Higuruma. If we haven't made it abundantly clear, he was just like such a fun addition to the cast, and I hope he really sticks around. I hope nobody just tragically kills Higuruma right before.
Yo, if he gets killed off, I'm gonna have an attitude.
Yeah, because Jujutsu Kaisen is a series where you genuinely don't know. It really is one of those series where like people just drop, and you're like, fuck. I like that person. Nobara was like example number 1. Nanami. So many people are gone. It's kind of wild. But yeah, this was also the audience really good chapter of the week.
Ooh.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
And I'll tell you what, it's this is actually probably the first time Jujutsu Kaisen's ever won the audience RGC poll. So good for y'all.
Yeah, this is a good chapter to give it to.
Yeah, I would say so. But yeah, I had a great time with this. Do you guys have any thoughts of Jujutsu Kaisen?
I can't help but think how you were absolutely correct over there. That Megumi would have got demolished. That would have been him. He would have been the third body right there in that picture, off to the side.
Yeah.
With his demon dog, dead, with X eyes and his tongue out.
This Megumi slander is crazy. I like Megumi.
Yeah.
I would like to think that Megumi would also confess to the crime if he felt he was guilty. So I would see this happening as well with him. I would like to think that Higuruma is going to meet a bunch of people who are like super cool, and he's going to be like, let's be a Jujutsu Kaisen squad. I would love that. You guys give me hope in humanity, which is pretty cool. Brian, do you have any thoughts on Jujutsu Kaisen?
It kind of went the way I expected it would go, but still doesn't take away from the fact that it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I said, Jujutsu Kaisen hasn't really disappointed me in a very, very, very long time. It's always a fun chapter, even though it's not always the best. You can always depend on a good time when you're reading Jujutsu Kaisen. Always.
Yeah, good consistency.
It's the most consistent. I feel like it's the most consistent manga in Shonen Jump right now.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm always very excited to read Jujutsu Kaisen. It's a very, very fun series. Love it. I've been collecting the manga volumes, and I think I've caught up. It's officially made my bookshelf, which is a Hall of Famer series type in my mind. If I have to have the solid books in my house, then you've made it to my personal story Hall of Fame. But in any case, I think that's it for Jujutsu Kaisen. Short and sweet. Had a good time.